All right. 9.5. So we ended the chapter at 9.4, and you had your 6 weeks exam on that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to finish the chapter because this portion of the chapter is extremely important, okay? Extremely important. So because of that, we're going to do a lot of focusing on this. I don't even remember if I have a quiz set for y'all or if it's just a test. Because I think it's only a couple of sections and then it's the test. Okay, so y'all need to rock and roll on this. So we're doing 9.5 slopes. This is all this stuff. Y'all are now getting into this stuff. No. It's not, oh no, this is good stuff. All right, but I'm introducing it, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to introduce it to you, okay, to the point that next year, no matter where you're at, if you are taking pre-algebra again next year, because it really depends on the school. One of my honor students last year is having to retake Algebra 1 because she went to a private school, and they couldn't fit her schedule in correctly at Livingstone's. So unfortunately, she's having to retake Algebra 1 again, which is really sad because she was an honor student last year. So she is extremely bored, but it is what it is. I feel bad for her, but it is what it is. So anyway, by the time we are done, you will be able to fly through this next year, no matter what course you take, no matter what school you take. It is, I drill it in really well because this is plain old fashioned graphing. Right? Now, what slopes are? It is the steepness. We may even spend 2 days on just 9.5 of a line. And yes, I will be assigning IXL. Tanner, aren't you hot in that?
Nope. What?
All right. Slopes are the steepness of a line. Okay, let me explain. When you hear slope, I want you to think of snow skiing, like a mountain, the slopes. I'm heading to the slopes to, yeah, exactly, Winter Olympics. Well, like a mountain, okay? Those are slopes. Look at these lines on my graphs. Do you see the ones that are tilted? They're sloping. The line is sloping. If the line was doing this, is there any slope at all?
No.
What if it's straight up and down? Is there any slope?
No.
If I turn it this way,
No.
it's sloping. If I turn it this way, it's sloping. Okay? So that's what a slope is. When graphing, it's the tilt of the line. Do you understand that? Okay. The next thing you need to know is it is constant. That means the slope doesn't suddenly change. The slope of this pen will never change from right here, 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 here. It's not going to do this and then all of a sudden do that.
If you stick it in a cup of water.
What?
You stick it in a cup of water.
What does that mean?
When you stick something in a cup of water, so you take a pencil, you stick it in a cup of water, when it's in the water, it changes directions. Or it looks like it is.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Never thought of that. But if you look on this graph here, Joseph, look over here. See the arrows? That means it goes on and on and on and on forever, right? The line goes on and on and on forever. The slope itself, the tilt, is constant. It will never change for any of these lines. It is the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change from one point to another. Okay. Blah, 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 blah is what you heard. The vertical change to horizontal change, and I'm about to show you what that means. Now, y'all, I graded your exams, your tests and everything. You have the Cartesian plane down perfectly. You have the ordered pairs down perfectly. And before you can do this, you have to have all of that down perfectly. So the formula for this, oh yeah, 2 stars. Rise over run. You need to memorize this. Rise over run. Rise is the vertical change. I'm supposed to say change. And run is the horizontal change. When it says rise, that doesn't mean just going up. Vertical change is up and down. Run, the horizontal change, is side to side. But it's rise over run. It means you go up and down first, and then your run, your side to side. And I'm gonna get y'all to where you understand these. But to find the slope, it's rise over run. Yes?
You continue taking notes. Sorry, I had a question. It's trying to find out the area of a triangle, but we need to, it's trying to figure out the height of a triangle, and I forgot the formula for that one.
It's just write down the area of a triangle. It's A equals 1/2 B times H, right?
Right.
Okay, well plug in the information you got and then solve for H. See if you can do that. Okay. If line, your graph, looking from left to right goes up to right, if it looks like that, it's positive. Down to right, negative. If it's a horizontal line or graph, it's 0. There's no slope. If it's vertical, it's undefined. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this is the slope. If your graph of your line looks like this, you're going to have a positive slope. If it looks like this, you'll have a negative slope. If your line looks like this, your slope is 0. If your line looks like this, it's undefined.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, this is kind of great. You can spread out. We should have like couches and recliners in this kind of. We have this kind of.
Oh, I agree.
I think that's like alternative learning.
I totally could. I could have this little, like
Yeah,
TV
like the
dinner
swivel
type
table?
thing. Oh yeah.
Oh, like
I could just
like
sit.
studio movie grill.
Yeah.
Done.
Yes.
Done. Yes. All right. What are we working on?
Oh, slopes.
Slopes. All right.
Learning slopes. For the
Don't
first
run
time.
up a steep slope. Run up a small slope. Is that what y'all learned about?
And she points.
It says slope right there.
I know. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. To find the slope. Okay, so let's say we need to find it. Now I'm going to be honest with you. This right here, my students very rarely ever remember any of that. And it's okay. And it's okay. This right here is what you have to remember. Okay, to find the slope. Step 1. Locate 2 points on the given line. Use points in crossroads. I'm going to explain that to you. Some people call it intersection. Some people call it crosshairs. But it's on your graph where the 2 lines meet. And there's a dot right in the middle. And I'm going to show you that as soon as y'all get this written down. So locate 2 points on the given line. Use points in the crossroads, the intersection, the crosshairs. See, Joseph gets what that means. You good?
Yes.
So when they say crossroads, intersection, crosshairs, see the graph? See where the lines cross, intersect?
Oh, we learned this last year.
Okay. These are your, anywhere you see the lines cross, those are your intersections. You're going to choose points that are on the intersection. Okay? Okay? All right, and now I'm going to show y'all, don't worry. All right, so that's what this means. Find points that are on the line, which I'm going to show you, but make sure they're in the intersection. All right, step 2. Count up or down the number of spaces vertically between points first. This is your rise. This is your y-axis. So first, and I'm going to write first right here. The first thing you do is count up or down the number of spaces vertically, that means up and down, between points. We're talking about the y-axis.
Isn't it called perpendicular lines?
Yeah.
First prize.
If you count down, it's negative. If you count up, it's positive. Down is negative, up is positive. Make sure your notes are nice and neat. So the first thing you do is your rise. You're gonna count up or down. Okay? If you do side to side first, you will get a wrong answer. So the first thing you do is you go up and down.
I do not understand what we're talking about.
Okay, but don't worry, it's all going to come together. So just focus on my words. Points have to be in an intersection or the middle of the perpendicular lines, right? Okay, so we get that. Don't worry if you don't understand why. Just know that the points have to be in the middle of that intersection. When you count, you have to go up and down first.
What are you counting?
I'm going to show you. When you're counting, you're going to go up and down first. If you count down, it's negative, up is positive. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to tie it all together. You know I will. Oh, wait, Kelly, you got it down yet?
Yes.
Okay. 3. Do right here. Count right or left the number of spaces horizontally between points. Second, this is your x-axis. This is your run that we're talking about. Now I'm going to say second. That's your second step. Okay. If you count left, it's negative. If you count right, it's positive. So left, negative, right, positive. Up, positive, down, negative, left, negative, right, positive. You have to have that memorized. Anytime you go down, it's negative. Anytime you go left, it's negative. Anytime you go up, it's positive. Anytime you go right, it's positive. So before we move on, I got to make sure you understand that information. Not why you do it, but just that you understand that you count up and down first. Down is negative, up is positive. Then after you've done that, then you count left and right. Left is negative, right is positive. Joseph, make sure your handwriting and notes are nice and neat, because you will be referring back to this. So first is your rise, your up and down.
And this is
Down is negative, up is positive. Then you count left and right. What? I know, 2, 22, 22. Left is negative, right is positive. You got it, Kelly?
Technically it's 0, 2, 22, 20.
Kelly, did you read over it? You got it?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, technically it's 0, 2,
4.
22, 20.
Step 4. Oh my goodness. Place
How?
vertical rise over horizontal run. So basically, how you write it is rise over run. That is how you write it.
How you even put it when you're writing it? Rise over.
Oh, I did. So how you write it is rise over run.
You put the L on right.
Horizontal. Oh, I forgot the L.
Horizontal.
So for example, when you count this part right here, this number here goes on top of this number here. Your rise, whatever you counted here, be it negative or positive, goes over this. So it's going to look like a fraction. Looks like a fraction.
It's just like a division sign. It looks like a fraction except the dots are replacing.
Yeah, exactly. Must reduce. So it isn't a fraction, but you cannot have any decimals. But you do have to reduce it.
I would forget. To reduce.
In fact, 5 says simplify. Everyone got it? Okay. This was to find the slope, and I'm going to put here using a graph. So to find the slope using a graph. So this is if they give you a graph and you got to find the slope, this is how you do it. Okay? You got it, Kelly? Now I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to start doing the examples, and you're going to be like, oh, I gotcha. So now we're going to be finding the slope without a graph. When given 2 points. Formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you've been given two formulas. One is if you don't have a graph and they give you 2 points on the graph, two ordered pairs, then here's how you find the slope. If they give you just a graph, then you're going to use this formula. Okay? You're using this formula. I'm going to show you. So this is finding the slope without a graph when given 2 points. For example, this one's going to be a little bit easier to do. For example, let's say they said find the slope. Okay, so right here. Find the slope. That means how much it's tilted. Okay, is it tilted like that, that? What's the slope of a line or graph if you were given -2 and -1 and 1 and 2? These are points on a line. Let's say these two ordered pairs are points. See the dots right here on this graph? Joseph, look over here. See these dots right here? Let's say that all they gave you were 2 ordered pairs. You know, those dots on the intersection. Okay, let's say they give you these two. And they need you to find, this is all they gave you. They said find the slope of the line that crosses through these 2 points. Well, we're going to use this formula because we don't have a graph or anything. We don't have a graph, so all they gave us were these 2 points. We're using this formula. So the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And some of you saying in your heads, what is this y2, y1, x2? What is that? Well, look right here. This will be your x1, y1. This is your x2 and y2. Do y'all see that? This first ordered pair, this is your first x and your first y. The second ordered pair is your second x and your second y. Do y'all see that? If you do not understand that, you need to let me know before we move on. Yes, ma'am?
I think I understand it. The places that the x and y are reflecting of the numbers.
Yes. This -2 is x1.
Oh, okay.
This -1 is y1.
Okay.
Because this is your first ordered pair. This is your second ordered pair. So 1 is your x2, 2 is your y2. So let's plug them in.
Wait, how is that? The negative x1 when there's only x1.
This?
Yeah, that's.
This is your first x.
Okay. Then why isn't it negative? Since
This is just a place. For example, this
minus.
right here. No. Let me show you. So we have, look, the first one's y2, right? What is y2? Positive what?
2.
Okay, so I'm going to write 2 there. Minus, there's always a minus. What is y1?
-1.
So look what I'm doing. Minus y1. y1 is -1. See what I did there?
Isn't that just plus?
We're not there yet. So x2 is what, Kelly?
Is positive.
Positive what?
No, wait. Isn't it it's -2.
No, that's x1. This first one's x2.
So then it's positive 1.
So it's 1. So 1, look, minus. What is x1, Kelly?
-2.
-2. So Atalia said, oh look, negative is positive, so that's 2 plus 1 and 1 plus 2, right? So 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3. So then our slope is 1.
Oh!
Ah,
I just remember the formula on top. I'm so dumb.
Okay, so look here.
Yeah, I just saw it, yeah.
Okay, so that's what's confusing. And I tell my students all the time to write these things below. Write them below. Because it will get confusing. Y2, 2,
Yeah.
minus, you always have to put the minus there. Y1 is negative 1.
oh, because X goes before Y. I was like, well, what if the other one's Y?
There you
And I
go.
was like, oh, X goes
Because I
before Y.
was so confused why.
And then x2, the second x is 1 minus, and then x1. See, it's easy to get confused. They've got y over the x because it's rise over run. This is the vertical. All right,
I was thinking it was just.
let's do, if ever you get a slope that looks like this,
Oh my. Isn't it?
if you have a 0 in numerator,
You can't divide
then the slope
0.
is 0.
Like, you can't divide 0 by anything.
It's going to be a horizontal line. Whoops. If you have 4 over 0, you have a 0 in denominator. Then the slope is undefined. That's just the rules. And it's going to be a vertical line. I'll give you examples of that later.
Sorry.
It's okay. You got it? Okay. Now for some examples. To bring everything I said home. Now, you do not have graph paper, or you may have graph paper, but even if you don't, just draw it the best you can, and pretty much just, draw it the best you can, but know that if you just kind of sketch what I'm doing, you'll understand and pay attention. So I'm going to draw my Cartesian plane. This is my X, this is my Y. Now, I'm going to draw the graph.
Wait, how many squares did you do?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So first I want y'all to put your pencils and stuff down. Put your pencils and stuff down. Put your pencils and stuff down. Put your pencils and stuff down.
I didn't get to finish writing.
Huh?
I didn't finish writing.
That's okay, you don't have to. Put everything down. I want you to just watch. Put everything down. Joseph, I need your eyes on the board. All right. So remember all of this. To find the slope using a graph, locate 2 points on the line. Make sure they're in the crosshairs or the intersection. First thing you do is the rise. You're going to count up and down. Down is negative, up is positive. Once you have that, then you do the second part, counting left and right. Left, negative, right is positive. So let's, given this, and my mess right here, let's find the slope of this line. So this is given to you. So we're going to find the slope of the line. First step, find 2 points on this line that are in the intersections. Now, this is the first example. So if you notice, there's lots of points on the line in the intersection. So look up here. I have, look, it crosses that intersection, crosses that intersection, crosses that intersection. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm putting points on the line that are in those intersections. Now, the rule says find 2, but I found a whole bunch to show you. Do y'all understand that? Atalia, do you understand that? Kelly, do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, then you shouldn't be writing. You need to be paying attention. So here's my graph. I found multiple points where the line crosses the intersection of the graph. I've placed my points. All right, step 1 says choose 2 points. So I'm going to choose just 2 random points. I'm going to choose this one and this one. Okay, so those 2. All right, if you remember, the formula is rise over run. Don't write anything. Okay, so the formula is rise over run. I'm going to start with this point here. And I always tell my students, draw a road map. So the first step is to go up and down, right? I'm going from this dot to this dot. So first I go up. How many places did I go up? I went up 1. Then I'm going to go my run. How many places did I go? There's my slope. 1 over 1 is 1. There's my slope. Let's say I choose this dot and this dot. So the first step is always your rise. That's first. If I were to go left and right first, I'd have a wrong answer. Always the up and down. So I want to go from here to here. So I go up, how many places? And then I'm going to go right to get to that dot, how many places? So then my slope is 1. Let's say I want to go from here to here. I want to start here. Do I go left and right first? I go up and down first, right? Well, to get to this dot, I have to go down how many places? Is that positive or negative? That's right, it's negative.
Why wouldn't we start on the other one?
You can. I'm just showing you. You can do this.
But once you get different,
No. Watch. Now I have to go left. How many places? And left is negative. Negative over negative is, and 3 divided by 3 is.
Are you always gonna get 1?
No. So you can go up and then over, up and then over, or you can actually go down and over. It does not matter as long as you do it correctly.
What if it's going to the right?
You can. Well, I'm going to show you another example. So remember, if you go up, it's positive. Down is negative. Left is negative. And y'all can start writing on this. Right is positive. So you can write all of this down. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. And we are done for today.